It feels like it's been a long time since we've been able to sit down and truly ask the question, what should main event WrestleMania? Whilst there are debates every year, this year feels different. We already know that Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes are going to main event night 2. There's no debating that, it's the biggest story going in and should be treated as such. But it's night 1 where things are a lot less simple. There are 3 matches that are in contention in my eyes that should main event WrestleMania night 1, and I'm going to debate why each of them should or shouldn't be the main event match. Let's start with what will probably be the main event of night 1. The creation of the build to Roman vs Cody, an insane tag match where everyone, except The Rock, already has a match and story going into it. This match just feels like a way to shoehorn The Rock into Mania without making him just the host or giving him a singles match that he probably couldn't do right now. I understand how big this is. The Rock wrestling, being involved in the Bloodline story, having 3 of your biggest current names all involved in the same match with The Rock in there too, it's a big deal. It's a big match. But I would argue that this takes away ever so slightly from Roman versus Cody the night after. You want people to go nuts when Roman and Cody finally square off, and you'll get that teased in the tag match, but the worry would be that this could dampen the crowd reaction for that huge night 2 match. I wouldn't be mad at this being the main event of night 1 because it's the one that's most likely going to be the main event, but it seems that this year more than any other, there's one thing that's been thrown to the wayside. The Royal Rumble, the match where the winner goes on to the main event of WrestleMania, or the winner just shows up at WrestleMania at this point. We need to talk about how the Women's Royal Rumble feels like an afterthought in comparison to Roman vs Cody and Cody vs the Bloodline. But in reality, the Damage Control storyline is important and has been a story told for long enough to warrant being in this conversation. This story between Io Sky and Bayley has been incredible. Despite its lulls, despite its issues, it's a well-crafted story that deserves the big match and the main event. And even to a simpler degree, Bayley won the Royal Rumble, she should main event WrestleMania. We really need to get back into the habit of making the Royal Rumble an integral part of the top level Mania stories, the main event Mania stories. But if we don't get the Rumble winner in the main event, then there is always one other thing. This is the least likely now that the tag match is confirmed, but I still want to advocate for this. A lot of people have said, and trust me, I know they've told me that Drew shouldn't have won the Chamber, that he shouldn't have the Mania match with Seth because we've already had Drew versus Seth. But the thing is how good Drew has been recently. I don't care how many times Drew has wrestled Seth recently, and neither should you. If Drew is the best option to take on Seth at Mania, then he is the best option. We want to talk about Cody's story? Well, Drew's story is about to culminate at Mania. He has tried to get to the world title again since 2021 and has always fallen short, be it of his own accord or via interference. Now is the time, and I think it should be argued that this moment should be given the biggest platform possible. It's obvious that not everyone can main event WrestleMania, and that's fine, but I think it's worth highlighting just how big Mania feels this year, to the point where the debate isn't about which Rumble match should main event, but rather what story deserves that big main event moment. I would personally give the main event to Io Sky versus Bayley, but it's pretty clear that The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins will be the main event on night 1. Is that a bad thing? Not necessarily, but let me know what you all think in the comments below.